Morning fans, Scott from SE Landscaping. It is Monday morning and it is 7 o'clock and we've already one job into the day. No footage, I'll put a picture up here now. No footage as it was a bit dark this morning first thing, so but one job down, on the way to the next one now. Smile and happy on a Monday morning, which I think is important, because if you're unhappy on a Monday morning, then you may as well pack up and go home, because your week's done, you're beat. So I've had a good weekend, worked Saturday morning, and then we've had the rest of the weekend off. It was my wife's birthday yesterday, so we decided to jump on a train and have a day out, which she deserves. She's sort of the one that holds it all together when I'm at work lots, which, as I've said previous, won't be the case in this coming year. We'll still be at work and doing what we love, but just not as much due to previous videos if you've watched it, the nightmares we've had this year. So just on my way to the next job now. I'm on industrial this morning and litter picking, so we've done one job there and now we're driving 5 minutes along the road for the next one, which is a village hall. Get a little bit of footage from that, and then after that we do our litter picking on a Monday morning. So I'll be going around 20 odd parks today, just litter picking emptying bins from the weekend and making sure everything's safe. So that is the plan. A couple of busy weeks left, but I've noticed last week the grass, apart from a couple of sites where we have strange grass that never stops growing, and some of you guys, some of you professionals, Bertie for instance, you may be able to comment on this, why all the grass up north starts to slow down. Then you've got certain sites which even through the winter they just go mad, so when you come to March you've got sort of 8-10 inches of grass growth on them. So I don't know if it's a grass type, I'm not an expert on lawn care, I don't know if it's a grass type or anything, but any of you experts, if you want to comment below, I'm sure a lot of us guys would be interested to know what the reason is for this, where they still grow through the cold season and grow like mad. So stay tuned guys, we'll get you a bit of the footage today. We're out with the Stihl 7 series. The ground is wet now, it's been raining the weekend and it's wet this morning, but the 7 series obviously still picks up leaves on the ground as well, but it still bags well. So that is the machine of choice today, Stihl all the way. Although I am testing some machines over the next few weeks. I've got a guy coming out to demo some machines, some Etesias, and then obviously we'll be looking at there's a couple of events on our way as well, one for a Secchi, which I think I mentioned on the previous video. So I should be having a look at the Secchi mowers and see what they're like, and just planning ahead for next year really. One or two things I'm interested in. So stay tuned guys, we'll get you some footage. So, job done. Let's have a look at the Stihl. Yes, the ground's wet today, the sun is out and shining, but the ground has been wet, it's been raining, and you've seen how much grass we've just cut, so let's have a look. So we've got a little bit of grass in the chute, but as you can see, it's been bagging well. Yes, it's not full because the grass isn't full. There wasn't enough grass to come off it, but you can see it's packing it in right to the back on a slope as it does and keeps sending it up. Yes, there's a little bit there, but it is bagging well, which is what we wanted it to do. So, job done, all neat and tidy. I'll talk about the tram lines in a bit. So towards the end of the video there, guys, I referred to something called tram lines. They are when you get the lines off the big heavy mowers in the grass. When it's sort of wet, it doesn't happen so much through the summer, but when it's wet it does. If you're cutting private gardens, usually people want it looking immaculate. If you're going to people every week and carrying out maintenance, you usually have a mower with a rear roller. Fortnightly, you tend to get people who want fortnightly grass cuts on private houses that they don't really care as much, or they haven't got the budget, so a lot of the time you would be ploughing in there with mowers like the heavy Stihl and things, just so that they bag well, and you're working in all weathers, and you'll get tram lines. But like I said, people who care will probably pay you more money to go weekly and go with the rear roller. This is commercial premises. These guys want the site tidy. I mean, to be fair, the job I've left there, it would pass for most people in private sector as well as commercial. But yes, the grass has grown. I've got one more cut to probably do there, which will be sort of, I'll open it up now, so 17-18 days time. One last cut in October, and that'll be it. So it's done the job. It looks really tidy. It looks tidy through the summer, don't get me wrong, but like I say, in the winter when it's slowing down, you're taking less grass off, and you can really see that it looks nice, same as it does at the start of the season. So you can see the Stihl machine. There was a lot of wet grass in that box because the grass is wet and has been wet, but it's bagged it well. It does what I want, which is what I bought the machine for. I've got no, apart from having up the revs slightly, I've had no issues with it. It's been a great machine. Probably buy another one, although we do have another one already, which is a roller one. Probably buy another machine ready for next year, but that could be something different because, like I said earlier in the video, I am demonstrating other things over the winter. So not to say I'm going to stick with Stihl. I love Stihl, but sometimes that it's nice to have something different as well, which could be the t-shirt or something totally different, who knows. So that's it. The grass is slowing. People who are in our trade who just cut grass will be, this time of year, if this is all you do, you'll be thinking, oh heck, this is the end of the season, my money stops. People who cut grass and then do lots of other jobs, some of them will be over the moon, and they'll be thinking I'll be getting a break from grass and I'll be able to drop on other things. But the people who are just set up for grass and don't do anything else, there's loads more things you can do to make money over the course of the winter. I mean, you can sell a lot of other products to customers over the winter, and yes, some of them you need to be skilled and know what you're doing, but a lot of them, pruning and things, basic pruning of shrubs and hedges and weeding, putting gravel down for customers, power washing, providing you've got a bit of experience in it, and knowing that power washing in the winter, if you re-sand and afterwards, isn't an ideal job. Good at cleaning if you've got the insurance and you don't mind heights. But also, I have been looking at a product myself recently, which is one of these gutter vacs, which works from the floor with a camera on. that's something else that customers who've got gutters full of leaves will pay to have done. Leaves cleaned up from gardens, and then bits of maintenance, although it's not the ideal time, bits of fence paint and things. There's loads and loads of things that you could turn your hand to just to keep that bit of money coming in. And yes, you're probably not going to keep the same amount coming in. So if you can keep a small amount of money coming in over the winter, it all helps in the quest to survive for next year, and possibly some of that money can go towards buying new equipment. So the other thing in the winter is most jobs, I've talked about tenders and things before, anybody going into commercial, but as well as private work, most people want someone in place March, April time. So this is the time now. Yes, we're just finishing grass cutting, and you may say, wait, it's October. I've got 6 months before the grass is growing again. You should be starting to plan today, not in 3 months time, not in 6 months time. You should be getting flyers in place, a website in place if you want, a Facebook page if you want, and you should be selling yourself weekly or daily for people for next year, so that you've got a business there. People will see things in January and think, oh yes, the gardener gave us our notice in October to say he wasn't coming back or he was retiring. We need to sort one. This guy here looks the part, he does quite a lot in our area. So get your fingers out. It won't come to you, you've got to go and find it. Tender websites this time of year, going to October, November, there'll be expressions of interest. What an expression of interest is a council or a business will put out something to say, look, we've got a contract starting 1st of April, we'd like someone, we'd like people to tender for this job. There's a 30-day expression of interest now, so if you're interested in what the tender documents say, in this, whatever it's on the website or whatever, if it says grass cutting, trimming, pruning, weed killing, if it says all that, then you've got 30 days to send them a basic letter or an email saying, look, yes, I'm interested in this tender for next year, could you send me the documents out? Once the expression of interest period closes, then they get everyone together, they get all the names together, they send out tender documents. Some of them will be pre-qualifying, which means that you'll fill out forms giving you banking history to say that you've got money in the bank and you're not living on your last £10, because these companies want you to be sort of solvent and not disappear. They might ask you about equipment and things as well, so they might say, what equipment have you got? And you give them a rundown of equipment, of everything you've got, so they know that you're set up to handle that tender. Some people will say, yes, I can get the equipment, but it goes a long way if you've already got all that equipment. And then they'll ask you health and safety and various other questions. Once you pass that bit, then you'll get the tender documents, then you'll get the maps, then you'll get the square meterages, then you go out on the sites with your measuring wheel, because you get these tender documents, and the big large companies, they sit in, I think I've mentioned before in previous videos, they sit in offices and base everything on 10p a square metre or 50p a square metre, but I prefer, you need to get out on sites, you need to find obstacles, you need to find things that will always be in your way, and the only way to do that is to go out on the jobs. So I've seen me spend 3 or 4 days driving around the northeast for tenders. And sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, and yes, you've lost 4 days, but you've got to do that. Jobs aren't going to appear, so you've got to allow the time to say, right, let's try and get this job. So, and then once you've worked your prices and everything out, you put it in, and you usually find out January, February time. So yes, if you've won the job and you haven't got all the equipment you need, it gives you a bit of time to look around and get the equipment you need. But it sort of sets you up if you can land a tender, if it's 30 grand, if it's 50 grand, if it's 60 grand for the year in February, on top of what you've already got, which might be a few gardens or it might be a few commercial premises, that can really kickstart your year. Or that could be enough that you don't need the price work for the whole year. It's sorted you out. And if you're somebody who goes out nights and weekends, price and work, imagine landing that one job that's took you 4 days in the winter to price. So you've gone around all these sites. Now take that 4 days that you've gone around that site, that's 32 hours. Say if you've been out 8 hours a day driving around in your car and a bit of fuel. Now take into account that through the summer you're going out, or through the spring you're going out 2 nights a week, a couple hours a week, you're going out on a Saturday morning and a Sunday morning when you should be at home or with your family or whatever. So think of them 32 hours and think of the hours you spend through the year going out pricing work, and that's the difference. So you're actually getting the time back. So anybody who says I don't have 4 days in the winter, if you take into account you're going to benefit in the summer because you're going to get that time back. So it's swings and roundabouts. You do need to look for the work in order to win the work. It's not gonna just come to you. Some people think, oh, I'll sit at home and my phone will never stop ringing. It might do in small parts, but you do need to go out and look for it. You do need to do bits and pieces to look for work. So I hope that helps. I hope it all makes sense. Anybody with any questions, as usual, drop me a message or a line, and I'll try my best to answer it. On my way now to about 20 minutes up the road to start my litter pick in the morning. It is 8:30. Like I say, that's a couple of jobs already down, and we'll go on to the litter picking now till lunchtime probably, and then back on a little bit of grass this afternoon. So thanks for watching, guys. If you're not already subscribing, please hit the button. It will be good to get more people watching the channel, and we will see you on the next one. Have a good week, everyone.